2019, I had lost hope. I didn't know how I could possibly get myself out of the situation that I was in. I had $400,000 worth of mortgage, $200,000 worth of tax debt that I'd been advised to defer when I was making a lot more money, and I couldn't see how I was going to get out of that situation. I know what it feels like to be under financial pressure, and I know how it feels for that to negatively impact your marriage, your vision for the future, your training, everything. If you felt like that and you have felt like you don't know how to increase your income, you don't know how to learn about the things that you know you need to learn about to be able to have the life that you want, to get life on your own terms, if you're not connected to the kind of people that you want to be connected to, then I know what you feel, and I would love to help you to get to a different position. I've got credibility to bring you to that new position because I've done it myself. I've built this community of successful people around me, not just the members of Uncommon Success and the people who did Elite Money Club 1.0, but Paul and a number of other mentors around me that I'd love to introduce you to. I'd love your circle of connections to change dramatically. I went for that position of $600,000 of debt and having to sell what was my first attempt at the Uncommon Success Village. I had to sell that. Went from that position to having millions of dollars worth of assets in just a couple of years, and being asset rich and moving to a position of buying things with the expectation of never having to sell them is a completely different position to live life from. But my story is only one of these. There are lots of other stories within Elite Money Club and people that Paul has worked with that have had huge changes. Paul himself is a serial millionaire. He built $1 million companies in various ways before he ever started teaching anyone about what he'd learned. People were badgering him of how did you do it? How did you get to the position that you're in? And then he realized that simply telling people what he'd done wasn't enough, that he had to learn a lot more about human psychology, a lot more about marketing, a lot more about money. And so he's been a student of that for the last 20 years, and he's been teaching people about how to become free, become abundant for the last 20 years. So he has a lot of experience with it, and he really knows what he's doing. I'm not the only one that he's been able to make a big impact on. This isn't necessarily going to work for people who don't want to do the work. It's not something that's like get rich quick, where you just learn one or two things and there's one or two tricks and there's like a marketing advertising ploy that you can put money on Facebook or Google ads and all of a sudden you're going to wake up and be in a different life. This is a deep transformation. So if you want to change the fundamentals of your life, then this is for you. If you want to just find a quick thing and you don't really have any time to learn anything new, then this isn't for you. If you don't want to connect to other people who are on a path to success, this probably isn't for you either. In my experience, if you're not willing to connect to others who've chosen success, then it's very unlikely that you're going to make a serious change. So if you don't want accountability to taking action, to building a product, or to making changes that are going to potentially take you to the position that you want to be in, then this isn't for you. The delivery of Elite Money Club 2.0 is via at least 2 hours. So it's 2 to 4 hours of content, 2 to 6 hours of content each week. So every week there's a 2-hour lecture and question and answer opportunity to discuss, learn. And then once a month, there's a 4-hour workshop that goes deeper into the theme for the month. So we cover that also on the weekly calls. There's a lot of contact hours within this. There are 3 key areas that we learn about. One is sales and marketing. Another is human psychology. And the other is money itself and the philosophy around money. So we work between specific topics in those 3 areas. That's how the flow of things goes. Along with that, you have accountability and accountability support from other members and from myself to make sure that you're taking action, make sure that you're understanding the material. The best thing to do to really comprehend is to synthesize it yourself and to speak about it and to share what's stuck. You're going to retain a lot more, and it's going to make a much bigger impact on your future when you do that. We did a lot of that in Elite Money Club 1.0, and as a result, a lot of it has stuck with me. I speak about it often. It's on the tip of my tongue. That's how I want it to be for you. I've shared a bit of my story. Probably the best other story that I can share about EMC 1.0 was Graham Tuttle. He's the one who committed the most to consuming the content, studying it, reiterating it, putting in his own words. He was studying it every day, and when we first started working together, he had a few thousand followers. He'd done a lot of things that most coaches do, most gym owners, but he was battling along. He hadn't had any success online, didn't really know how to grow his audience, didn't really know how to get a product to market. Right now, he has around 280,000 followers, and he has hundreds of customers each month. He literally has built something that people really care a lot about. He's helping a lot of people. He's been on a lot of the biggest podcasts in the States, and he's living the dream. There's no way back from here. Like, he's got it made for the rest of his life. And while that's the best story, there are lots of other ones that are along those lines, and I'll link below. You can see the comments when I ask people about, what stuck, what happened through EMC 1.0. You can see that most of the people, many of the comments is like, it was life-changing. I see life through a different lens. This is not some sort of step-by-step, how to build a funnel. Yes, we do that, but the psychology elements of it and the fundamental understanding about how things work is really a deeper change. So what happens if you get involved and it's not for you? If it's not for you and you see in the first month, like, I just don't want to be part of this, we'll definitely give you a refund, all your money back, and you're welcome to, go and look for whatever it is that is going to serve you. Most people are going to feel like they don't have the time for this. That's the whole point. The whole point is to get life on your own terms. So now Graham has the time to be able to travel around the States, to be able to visit different people, to be able to mentor who he wants to mentor. That's what we want. That's what I want for you. I'm sitting here in Montenegro. I want you to be able to choose where you live. I want you to be able to choose your working hours. I want you to be able to choose who you get coaching from. I don't want finances to be a barrier for you. If you don't have the time, how are you going to get it? Something needs to change. And I can guarantee you that you will feel a significant change in the way that you look at the world. You will have a different frame of reference, different perspective. You'll look at business opportunities differently. You look at yourself differently, money differently. Once you've assimilated and listened to this content, the live nature of it is very impactful. So it's going to be worth the effort. I know that it is a sacrifice, it is a challenge, but it's a ton of fun as well. Like, we really did enjoy it. I'm looking forward very much to EMC 2.0. I get to go through everything. That's initially why EMC 1.0 started, was because I was doing one-to-one mentoring with Paul, and I asked him, if he would mentor me, and I could see through the calls that I wanted him to actually lay out his way of thinking and his system. In the mentoring, I was getting bits and pieces of things, but I didn't get the overall picture. And so I really, really wanted him to lay that out. And when I offered it to some friends, then we ended up having 40 people choose to do that EMC 1.0. And it was phenomenal. I'm really, really glad that we had that experience. And I don't know if there's going to be a third round of this. The 2.0 really is like an upgraded version. It's not just the same thing again. We have a different system of accountability. We have a different layout of the content. We have new content, a different format. And I do believe that we're going to be able to get significantly better results with the way that we're upgrading this. As an EMC 2.0 member, you also have access to the 1.0. So you're going to get a lot more support and a lot more content to be able to help you transform yourself. So this is really about, you taking control of your life. This is a big transformation that I'm offering. It's been a big transformation for me. I didn't think I needed a big transformation or that I had such a big change in me, but I did. And I want this for more people around me. I want my friends around the world to have been through this experience as well, so that we can have shared conversations and a shared perspective. Those who've done the first round, many of my friends decided that it was something that they wanted to do. Whenever we speak, this comes out. Whenever there's an event, people are talking about the learnings from EMC 1.0. So if you do have the possibility to take on this journey, I would highly recommend it. I don't know of another education that you can buy that would have such a profound effect. And I do believe that if I was to go to Harvard or Stanford or one of these places for a year, I don't think it could have the same impact on my understanding, my frame of reference, my system of values, relationships, business. There's nothing out there like this, and I may be deluded, and maybe I'll get the chance to contrast it against one of these titanic education monoliths at some stage as well. But yeah, this really is something special, and you'll see if you've listened to any of Paul's content, you can see that there is something very different about him. When you get started, then if you're one of the first to get started, you will definitely have a one-to-one call with Paul. That in itself was life-changing for many of the people who took that call. They found out things about themselves that they didn't know. They got clarity on things that they were uncertain about. That was definitely the case for me on my first call with Paul. If you're one of the first to sign up, you'll definitely get that one-to-one call, and you'll get your Genius and Spiral typing testing, which is very, very powerful. Really, really cool tool to understand yourself, but you'll also then be thinking about it when you work with people in the future. If you're coaching and mentoring yourself, then it might be something that you want to incorporate in what you're doing. Those who join later will still have the opportunity to do that. It'll just be a paid thing. But yeah, if you take action now, then that is an opportunity that is right in front of us right now. I don't think there's anything else I need to share other than I really, really hope that this is within the realm of possibility for you, and I'd love to discuss it with you if you can see that you want to do this. We'll speak soon.